All right. Now we're back for some fantasy football. Dave is back on with his Packers hat, so I had to throw my Bears hat on. Dave, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, man? I'm ready for some football Friday night, baby.
Finally, huh? Football is starting here. Obviously, college football has been rolling, and Florida State's losing to Boston College 28-13. I'm finding that kind of a head scratch from me. What the
Yeah,
hell's
Florida
going
State
on
just
here?
doesn't look like themselves like last year. I think they're really missing Travis, I think, from last year. So I don't think they're as good as they said they were last year.
Oh man, they don't even look close to it. It's terrible. Their defense
No.
is allowing. I mean, don't get me wrong, Boston College looks a little better, but how many times do we have to say that Georgia Tech beat them? We gotta say Georgia Tech's better. Maybe it's just that Florida State's bad. So you're gonna have to keep that in mind here
Yeah,
for
it's
the
looking that way right
power
now.
ratings. Yeah, for the power ratings, it's crazy. But we have NFL to talk about because we're going to rank some wide receivers, some tight ends, and defense for you. Talk a little bit about how we think the first 10 picks are. So, just catching up from a couple weeks ago. Why don't we start with wide receivers, Dave? You know, actually, before we get to wide receivers, being that the preseason's over, I wanted to ask you to recap it. Is there anything that surprised you from the preseason?
No, a lot of the quarterback battles they kind of panned out how I thought they would. Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams, they were going to win those jobs. Drake May, I was kind of a little shocked on that one that he's not starting. Actually, he had a very solid preseason. I understand I'm going to go with Jacoby Brissett. I understand the reasoning behind it. It might be better actually in the long run for that quarterback, just so he gets more seasoning and he can learn a little bit more before they throw him into the fire. Uh, AKA Jordan Love, sat for 2-3 years, and now he's actually looking really good, and he understands everything. He can see the defense is better. So that was probably my only surprise was that Drake May is the starting week 1 as well.
Yeah. I mean, Brissett's not that good.
No,
Maybe they just want to like ease May in and he's being stubborn out there. I don't know. It's very strange to me. I think they're going to be bad though, and maybe they know that, and they want May to be smeared. Maybe coach doesn't want that to
Jacoby
happen.
Brissett is a solid quarterback. He's going to he'll put up decent numbers for you. He's not extraordinary. He's just a solid quarterback. He's not going to lose games for you, but he's not going to win games for you as well. So
Yeah, and it's all up to Mayo. Gerard Mayo. He's going to probably. I say week 4, Mayo be in, so I'm not super worried. I will say that the Broncos surprised me a little bit. I think that Bo Nix is a little bit better than I thought he was going to be coming into the preseason. Actually, I think the Broncos as a team might be a little bit better. Not like great or good, even probably not even average, but definitely not average, but better than like bottom feeder, I think. And not a ton of surprise that you can't take too much out of preseason. Some guys didn't even play. Joe Burrow didn't
exactly.
get much time at all.
Smarty
Um,
Perine getting cut for the Broncos actually surprised me quite a bit too. But I like McLaughlin there actually quite a bit, so that doesn't really surprise me as much. But the other thing that really surprised me this preseason, which just isn't part of the preseason, but it sort of was, Brandon Ayuk. I was surprised he stayed with the 49ers with all the trade rumors that were swirling all preseason. I thought for sure he was gone. So I was a little shocked that he's still a 49er. So that was the other thing I was really shocked about.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because it was so weird. Why did you draft Ricky Pearsall so high? I think he was either a end of first round or beginning of second round a pick, and it's like that was to replace. Why are you paying a third pass catcher now? Because you're paying your tight end, you're paying Debo Samuel. Christian McCaffrey's like one of the
He's
highest
getting
paid
paid,
running
yeah.
backs. I mean, Brock Purdy is now going to get paid. And now you pay Ayuk. Why did you draft Pearsall? It makes it completely weird and real sad for Pearsall because went from sleeper in my rankings to bust now. Like,
Plus he got shot.
I know poor guy gets shot. It's like, Jesus. Not only do they sign Ayuk for $120 million, Pearsall gets shot. What a terrible couple weeks for this dude. Yeah, it's just the draft pick makes no sense to me now, and that move doesn't. I think they're going to trade Debo or Ayuk by the end of the year. I think that's going to happen. If it's not like during the year because they're struggling, it's probably going to be. I expect them to be not struggling, so I expect them to trade one of them Dave. And
We
no
got
one's
to
gonna,
remember too that well, first off, Brent Ayuk is the 5th highest paid receiver, which I don't think he's worth. That definitely he's not the 5th best receiver in the league for sure.
I
The
agree.
other thing is they drafted Jacob Cowing too, who's actually a pretty good receiver himself. So they actually drafted another receiver as well. So they're actually deep at wide receiver quite a bit. So I do agree with possibly one of them could get traded before the end of the year, and it probably will be Debo just because they did just sign Brandon Ayuk, but we'll see. It'll be surprising, but I'm going to be shocked if it did happen.
Yeah, Pearsall getting shot, and I drafted him in our dynasty league, so a little bit disappointed, but I still think he could have some value next year for sure.
Definitely.
And obviously injuries. Let's go to wide receiver rankings then, and we'll just do like 10 by 10, go to like 30, and then do some sleepers. But I struggle between my 1 and 2, Dave, because I flip flop between CD Lamb and Tyreek Hill. You know, Hill now is fine. For a while, he was a little banged up, and CD Lamb was holding out for contracts. But the way I look at it, Dave, is I put CD Lamb number 1 for one reason, really. It's just because he is not surrounded by a bunch of other talent like Tyreek Hill is. You know, Tyreek Hill has some really good running backs there. He's got Jalen Waddell as the other receiver there, and he's going to be taking some touches. And CeeDee Lamb is really, by himself out there almost in a way. And, the running game's not as good at Dallas as it's going to be. And I think I could see them trailing. And I just think CeeDee Lamb's going to be the number 1. So that's why I did that. I got Lamb, Hill, Chase, number 3, who's got some questionable coming into this week. Ross St. Brown, number 4. And I have Justin Jefferson, number 5. I just don't like Jefferson without a good quarterback. Sorry. It just unfortunately hurts him. A.J. Brown, number 6. Garrett Wilson, number 7. I think Wilson should have a good year. Marvin Harrison Jr., number 8. Drake London, number 9. And Mike Evans, number 10, Dave.
All right. I like that. I do agree with CeeDee Lamb. He's definitely going to be the clear cut number 1 there. He's going to get all the targets too as well. I got Tyreek, number 2. Number 3, I have Justin Jefferson, actually. I think even with Sam Darnold, I think he's just an elite receiver, and I think he will still put up numbers. I think Darnold will be able to get him the ball. So I do got him at 3. At 4, I got Amon-Ra St. Brown. 5, I got A.J. Brown. Number 6, I got Jamar Chase. I moved him quite a ways down, I know. Some people are surprised, but in a lot of my drafts, he's actually been going around the 5-6 range for wide receivers. That holdout is actually major. He's still not practicing. Even when he does get into camp, he's going to be a little bit rusty. A little timing's going to be off of Burrow. They haven't really worked together. He's been at practice sometimes, but he hasn't practiced at all. He's been there, but he hasn't been practicing. So reason I moved him down. 7, I got Garrett Wilson. 8, Puka. 9, Debo. I think Debo still has a good year. He can do multiple things. And then I got 10, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Okay, no, fair enough. Why don't you go 11 through 20?
Number 11, I got Mike Evans. I think with Baker there, he had a good year with Baker last year. I like him there. 12, Drake London. I think with Kirk Cousins there, that could unlock his potential a little bit more there. 13, I got Nico Collins. I like him with Stroud there. Brandon Ayuk, I got at 14 now that he's signed and going to be reporting. Chris Olave at 15. DK Metcalf at 16. Devontae at 17. Jalen Waddle at 18. Like you said, I think he will take a lot of targets from Tyreek. So, but I think they can feed both of those guys, though. I think they will have enough targets to go around there. 19, I got Cooper Kupp. Number 20, DJ Moore.
Well, it's interesting because you didn't mention Diggs, did you? Did you mention Stephon Diggs? Wow. A lot of people have Nico Collins ahead of Diggs. It's just kind of a mind-blowing thing because Diggs gets all that money, complains, blah, blah, blah. And he is an elite receiver in the NFL, but a lot of people, including myself, have Nico Collins higher than Diggs. And
I do actually as well. I got Nico. I got Stephon Diggs is going to be in my next batch around. He does make the top 30 still, but I did move him quite down quite a bit. Just his off the field baggage, and then I just think he's going to get a little older too as well. So I like Nico. He's a little bit younger. He's not doesn't have as much off the field baggage, so that's why I moved Nico up.
Diggs had 2 made drops last year too, if you remember. I have Nico number 11. So there you go. It's Cooper Kupp number 12. I think he makes a comeback. Puka Nacua number 13. I struggle between those two. I know they're both going to get a lot of targets, but I'm still going to go with Kupp with the edge. DJ Moore number 14. Chris Olave number 15. DK Metcalf number 16. Jalen Waddle number 17, Devontae Adams, number 18, Amari Cooper, number 19, and Zay Flowers, number 20. So I got Zay in there. Then I have Deebo Samuel, number 21. Deebo's weird because, I mean, ever since Christian McCaffrey got to San Francisco, it hurt him a little bit. I mean, I remember Deebo on my team last year, and there was be weeks that he gets 2 points, and you're just like, I guess they're just beating teams so much, you know, that they didn't have to go to him. He's a great gadget.
You're not using him as a running back either. Back in the past, when he was putting up those major fantasy points, he was getting touches at running back quite a bit too. So I think with CMC back, he's not getting those touches at running back anymore either, which kind of hurts his value too.
Absolutely. And then before I go through 21 through 30, someone popped in with a question. Ken Konecki said, can you give me advice on my team? 10-man PPR with 2 flex. Is that a super flex or a flex? I'm going to guess just flex.
Flex.
Quarterback Richardson, Taylor, running back 2, Jerome Ford, Garrett Wilson, Nico Collins, McBride, Cooper Kupp at flex 1, Devontae Smith at flex 2, the Bears defense at the D. What advice are you looking for? You know, I mean, I think I'm worried about Richardson. I kind of have him more as a bust, but I love everybody else on your team. You know, I think that there's probably some good quarterbacks on the waivers that you want to just store in case he gets hurt. You know, you might find a Trevor Lawrence who could have a comeback year, or a Kirk Cousins, or and even Aaron Rodgers, maybe. But there's some guys out there that you can probably pick up before other people do, and Matt Stafford too. So I like your team a lot, Dave.
Yeah, I try not to do too many people on one team. I do like Richardson and Taylor. I like both those as players, but I don't like them on just a one team. You're banking on a lot. If, say, you're playing a good defense one week and they shut down one of those two or even both of them, your fantasy teams are going to really struggle that week when you have two loading up on your 2 major positions at running back and quarterback. Like I said, I am a big Richardson fan. I do have him one of my sleepers. I don't have him as a bust like Kiev, but I don't like having 2 people on the same team, though, and banking everything on that. Like a wide receiver quarterback combo, yes, but not a quarterback running back combo. That's 2 major positions for you, and I think that's going to actually hurt you a little bit. Jerome Ford, I do like him, but he could struggle at times, though, too. So that's one question mark. Maybe flip him for a different running back if you can later. See how he does the first couple weeks, and then maybe flip him later if you can for a different running back. Or if he has a couple
well, you want to flip him when Chubb comes back, or at least 2 weeks before Chubb comes back.
Exactly.
So, dude, believe it or not, man, Ken, there's going to be people out there that are just too dumb to think about that. They're in every single freaking league. You just got to sniff them out, man.
Yeah, and I do like McBride, the Collins, Wilson. I like the rest of this team. I think you have a solid team. Just like I said, the 2 in the same team, 2 major positions, and then Jerome Ford, he kind of worries me. And then if he has a couple of big games, I would maybe try to flip him for a different running back, possibly.
Yep. No, good stuff. Great question, though. Thank you. Let's move into my 21 through 30. I have Deebo Samuel is 21, like I said. Devontae Smith, number 22. I think he should have a good year. Malik Neighbors from the Giants, number 23. I might even be a little too low on him. Stephon Diggs, there he is, number 24. T. Higgins, number 25. George Pickens, number 26. Brandon Ayuk, I have at 27. You know, I don't know where people are ranking this guy, but you can't put everybody in the Niners up that high. Michael Pittman, number 28. Tank Dell, number 29 from Houston. I cannot believe that a lot of people have 3, and it's not just me. A lot of people have 3 Houston receivers in the top. I mean, that's how big of a year CJ Stroud is supposed to have. I think if anybody takes a hit, it's probably Tank Dell, but he was good last year too. And then Christian Kirk, I have at number 30. Dave.
All right, sounds good. 21, I got Amari Cooper. He had a solid year last year. I think he does again, especially if Watson stays healthy. I do like him. Malik Neighbors, I'm really high on him. I think he's going to be the number 1. He's going to get most of the targets there, kind of like a CD Lamb. He could be a breakout guy this year. Definitely one of my sleeper picks this year. Devontae Smith, he had a great year last year. I like him to continue that this year. T. Higgins at 24. 25, George Pickens, with Deontay Johnson being gone. Pickens is the number 1 there, so I like that pick. Rashid Rice, he's not getting suspended, it sounds like, so definitely I like him this year. The sophomore year, I think he could have a big year. 27, I do have Tank Dell, like you were saying. I got 3 guys in the top 30 for the Houston Texans, so But I do agree with you, Kiev. I think Tank Dell, if anyone, he's the guy that I worry about the most. I could suffer the target loss with Stephon Diggs there. 28, I got Michael Pittman. 29, I got Diggs. Like I said, Diggs could take some of those targets away from Dell and kind of affect him, so he could move above him possibly. Number 30, I got Zay Flowers. He had a good year with Baltimore last year. Another young guy I really do like at the second year, kind of like Rashee Weiss. I think he could have a big year as well.
Yeah, we're pretty far Flowers. I have 20, you have 30. Just depends upon what Mark can do this year. I have Rashee Rice at number 33. I mean, I still think Pacheco's going to get a lot of touchdowns, and I'm high on Pacheco. I'm high on Kelsey as usual. I'm a little worried about Xavier Worthy coming in, taking some touches away from Rashee Rice. So that's my only thing. But let's get into some sleepers then, Dave. Give me a few sleepers and wide receivers.
Yeah, Xavier Worthy, actually, just talking about him. I like him a lot, actually. He can stretch the field. And I think they're a little bit banged up at receiver, too, with Hollywood out now, too. So I think they look to Worthy a little bit. I think he could have a breakout year. I like a couple other young guys, too, as well. Jackson Smith and Njigba. I like him a lot. I think he could have a big year. I think he takes some of the targets away from Lockett this year. I think he could have a breakout year. Brian Thomas Jr., even though there's Kirk is there and Gabriel Davis never really was never stepped up at receiver when he was with the Bills. He had a few big games, but never was consistent. I think Brian Thomas Jr. could be that guy. I think they might look to him a little bit more. He was running with the number ones in preseason, so I like him. And another young guy too, Ladd McConkey. I think he could be the number one for the Chargers, so you can keep an eye on him. There's another guy you can get later in drafts. I've seen him going quite a bit later in drafts. And Jordan Addison, actually, I know we're kind of down on the Vikings with Sam Darnold there, but Jordan Addison actually had a pretty good year for a rookie last year. So if Darnold is at least adequate at quarterback for the Vikings, I think he could have a good year as well.
I agree with your Ladd McConkey. I think he's just a Harbaugh kind of guy. I think Jim Harbaugh is going to put him to use. He could end up being the favorite receiver out there. So I almost got Ladd, and then someone snagged him right before I got him. So in our draft last Thursday, Dave.
And then my other one would be the Buffalo receiver, whoever steps up for them. So it's really hard to say. I really can't give you a name because I'm not going to really sure. It's going to be Keon Coleman. It could be Khalil Shakir, or it could be Curtis Samuel. But whichever one of those three ends up being the number one or getting all the targets there is the main guy there. They're going to be definitely the big sleeper for the Buffalo. It's just hard to determine right now who that guy is going to be, though.
It feels like the NFL is just loaded with receivers nowadays. Just loaded,
I think it is a lot deeper. Even for fantasy-wise, I think it's much deeper at wide receiver this year.
Without a doubt. If you don't get those couple elites, you might be able to get lucky and wait on a few, if you're drafting. That's my thoughts on it, because you can get
100% agree.
Yeah, you can get like a Jameson Williams late who's poised, like he just came out saying he wants to be the main guy there, and the dude was a stud in Alabama. I mean, he was hurt first year, and then he was suspended 6 games last year, but he's coming back fine. And Jared Goff's got an arm, and that's going to be my sleeper. I agree with you. Ladd McConkey's a sleeper. I have Jackson Smith and Jigma a sleeper too, and Keon Coleman. I think I'm just going to pick Keon Coleman out of that, but I don't know. It could be anybody, like you said, Dave. What's the deal with Romeo Doubs? I don't have him as a bust, but I don't have him that high. Is he kind of behind Reed now?
Definitely their possession receiver. Watson's going to be their big play guy and the guy they look for in the red zone. So that's why if you can't see it, I have my Watson jersey on right now. I'm rocking that tonight for the third Friday Brazil game. But anyways, I do like Watson. He could be a sleeper too as well. Just depends on if they can all stay healthy. And then you can't forget about Jordan Reed too, or Jake Reed. That's another guy too that we don't know same kind of with the Buffalo Bills. The Packers have so many weapons.
I trust Watson more than the other two. So
it's really hard to say who's going to be the number 1, 2 for the Packers. They really don't have a per se number 1.
Yeah, between Reed and Dobbs, I was a little unsure myself. It looks like you're still a little unsure. Another question from Wavy. My running back room is JT. Man, a lot of JTs. Love it, guys. Montgomery, Singletary, and a 10-man. Doesn't need work. I mean, your running back room. Singletary's supposed to be the man for New York. I love Jonathan Taylor. It's just, Dave, what do you think?
I like Montgomery as well too. I think your running backs are fine. For the bye week, it depends on if you have to start one of them in a flex. That's going to be the determining factor. If you have a flex position, if you're starting one of those in a flex position, then I'd say Singletary is probably like a running back 2 or running back 3. So probably running back 3. Definitely JT and Montgomery, both are number ones. Lions had one of the top rushing offenses last year, so Montgomery and Gibbs can both still be top running backs there. So I do like JT.
And that's the problem with Montgomery. You don't know if Jahmyr Gibbs is really going to take over hard, or if
I don't think Montgomery's still going to get hits.
I think so too. I think you're right, Dave. I think Montgomery was a good bet. And now this is a 10-team league. It's normal to see pretty stackness. Singletary, a little bit of a concern just because he's on such a bad team. So he would be the only one that just keep your eye open for the waivers. But I think you're in good shape.
Yeah,
you're fine. Yeah. Another question. What do you think of my 16? And this is from Priceless Pigeon. Love your name, dude. What do you think of my 16-man PPR team? Dak, Caleb Williams, Ashen, Zeke, CD, DJ Moore, David Njoku, and Tank Dell. 16-man league.
That's a legit team.
I'm wondering how. That's a really legit team for a 16 team. It looks like you kind of ignored the running backs. You grabbed Achin somewhat early. You got to come back with Zeke a little bit, but instead you got CD Lamb, you got DJ Moore, Tank Dell. It's legit, for a 16 team for sure.
Yeah, the only thing, Zeke he's not the best running back out there probably, so you want to maybe solidify that a little bit. He was a second pick, so you definitely want to solidify that running back position a little bit more going once the season starts, possibly. But yeah, for 16-man, 16-team league, that's a great team.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we got another one from J Tube. Do I accept Murray and Puka for Daniels and Garrett Wilson?
Ooh.
Well, I mean, I'm guessing Jaden Daniels, right?
Yeah, I'm taking Murray. I like Murray a lot. Like we talked about in the quarterback when we did those last week. I like Murray a lot. I think he could really bounce back this year. Him and Puka for Daniels is unproven. Garrett Wilson should be better with Rodgers this year, but we're still not really 100% what he's going to do this year. I think he's going to have a big year, but I'd go with the two guys that I know are going to be solid for you this year. I would take the Murray Puka side of that deal for sure.
Yeah, I would too. I don't like Washington's coach that much. I think Daniels is a little thin for the NFL. I think he needs to fill out a little bit. He can get hurt. And the Jets could just be that team, since their D is so good, that Aaron Rodgers is a manager and Garrett Wilson just doesn't get the Tyreek Hill type numbers,
I don't think Rodgers lets that happen, but yeah.
Former Packer fan here, of course.
Yeah, he's a prima donna. He's not going to let them run the ball all the time. He's going to check out. He's going to want to throw the ball.
Well, you got Marvin Harrison Jr., so that's good. I think it's just interesting. You're going to have Mary tied to Marvin Harrison Jr. You got to hope that they have games. I expect Marvin Harrison Jr. to be big. I will pair sometimes quarterbacks with receivers more than quarterbacks with running backs, Dave.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Like I said, I was telling him if it was running back and quarterback, I didn't like that. But the quarterback and wide receiver combo, I do like that. He's got the 3 combo though here, so that's starting to bank on a little bit heavy on the Cardinals. Hopefully they have a good season and a nice offense, but let's bank a little bit more on them than I'd like to probably. Plus Harrison's a rookie too, so we're thinking he's going to be really good still, but you still don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. We got to move on. Keep those questions coming though; they're really good ones. Tight ends. You did sleepers already. Yeah, we both sleeper. Okay, tight ends. So tight ends. Why don't you give me your first 10, Dave?
All right, sounds good. Laporta, I like him. He's my number 1. He's a nice young tight end, up and coming. Goff likes to throw to him. My number 1. Number 2, Kelsey. He's still one of the best tight ends out there, even though he's getting a little bit older. He's still good. Pat Mahomes likes him. One of his favorite targets. Andrews at 3. So 4, I got Trey McBride. I like him, up and coming tight end. 5 is Kittle. Still injury prone. He's a little bit older, but he's still going to get his. Just too many weapons in that offense, though. So I got him at 5. 6, I like Kyle Pitts. I think Pitts can have a really good year with Kirk Cousins. I think this is his breakout year, actually. So he's the guy I really like this year. 7, I got Dalton Kincaid. I've been grabbing him in almost all my leagues. I like Kincaid this year. I think he gets more looks and more targets this year than last year. Second year in the league, too. Plus, with them losing a couple receivers, definitely get more targets. Jake Ferguson, I got number 8. I like him with the Cowboys. He had a good year last year. I only look for him to build on that even more. I think he have a better year this year. 9, Evan Ingram. Lawrence likes him. The last couple of years, he looks for Ingram, so I like him at 9. David Njoku at 10. I think he came on towards the second half of last year. We'll see how he plays with Watson now, but Flacco and him like lit it up last year. So I think he could be really good if Watson gets on the same page as him.
I think Njoku saved my fantasy league with yours. That's one of the reasons I won the league. Yeah, I have Sam Laporta, Kelsey, and Kittle top 3. I still have Kittle there. I just feel that Kittle is just such a leader on that team too, and he's so fun on the sidelines. It's such a great interview guy too. And
I got him off the feed there though. Samuel, you got Ayuk
I literally when Ayuk was signed, he was number 2, and then I moved him back down when Ayuk was signed under Kelsey, Dave. So I had to make a slight adjustment, but I still think he's a beast. He'll get like 40 to 50 chunk yards. He'll get like 3 catches and 1 touchdown, 40 to 50 chunk yards is what he'll do. Trey McBride, I have I have Dalton Kincaid number 4, Dave. I have Dalton Kincaid as a big sleeper here. I think he's going to benefit even more than the receivers for Buffalo. He was a beloved target of Josh Allen last year.
Like I said, I've been getting him in all my leagues. I should have probably even moved him up a little bit more than I had him. But yeah, I like that.
Okay, cool. Then Trey McBride, he was a beast last year. Jake Ferguson, I have in the next one at number 6. And Fergie, ex-Badger, he's a good solid tight end. And with the wide receiver losses over there, he's also going to benefit a little bit more. David Njoku, I have next at number 7. Mark Andrews, I have at number 8. Somewhat of a bust, I have Mark Andrews.
Wow.
Well, here's the thing. You're going to find out later, but there's the other tight end I kind of like a little bit. I kind of like the lead. As you know, Cole Kmet, I actually have as a sleeper too at number 9. I know that I think that the Bears have a big year, and he's going to be the one open.
But they were saying already, like Gerald Everett's going to begin some.
He's going to. I know, but
so
I know, and I do like Everett a lot too. I might have him too high. I'm going to stick with 9 for now, but I'm getting into the Kyle Pitts, Dallas Goedert, Pat Freiermuth time area. So to be honest with you, I don't like anybody after 8. Can I say that?
Yeah, that's how it is for tight ends most years, though.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. So those are my 10, Dave. I guess Kyle Pitts would be number 10. I'm still not super high on him, but go ahead. Why don't you give me yours? Your next.
All right, I got 11. I got Brock Bowers. I like him. I think he could have a good year. He's more of a receiving tight end, so I think he could, fantasy wise, he could be gold. Dallas Goedert at 12. I got 13, Pat Freiermuth, like you said. This is kind of that range. 14, Dalton Schultz. I think they got a lot of mouths to feed there, though, but Schultz is still a solid tight end, so I like him there. 15, Taysom Hill. This might be a little surprise, but they're a little bit banged up at tight end right now, and he's going to get you points. He'll get you other points from other places too as well. So in that respect, he's kind of valuable. He's a kind of a gadget guy that can play everywhere. TJ Hawkinson at 16, a lot of people forgot about him. He's going to be out for the first 4 weeks probably, but after that, he's still going to be one of the top 5 tight ends when he comes back. Luke Musgrave at 17. This is one of my biggest sleepers this year. I'm calling it right now. I'm saying Luke Musgrave could be a top 10 tight end by the end of the year. So I really like him this year. I think I got Cole Kmet at 18, Tyler Conklin at 19, and then I got Isaiah Likely at 20. So that was your guy there that you thought that was a sleeper.
Yeah.
I like him as well too. I think Andrews was a little injury prone the last couple of years, so I snuck Likely into my top 20.
Yeah, I think he earned more touches this year too. I have Brock Bowers number 11. He better live up to his hype here. Dallas Goedert number 12. Pat Freiermuth number 13. I have Isaiah Likely number 14. I have Luke Musgrave from the Packers actually at number 15. Dalton Schultz number 16 is kind of a little bit more of a bust. Evan Ingram number 17. Michael Mayer number 18. They're going to play a lot of 2 tight end sets with Antonio Pierce out there at the Raiders. So I believe that both him and Bowers are going to get targeted. Taysom Hill number 19. Really can't do a lot with Taysom Hill. I've soured on him. And 20, I have TJ Hawkinson from Minnesota. Maybe I'm too low on Hawkinson, but I think that just him losing his quarterback, like I said, that's going to be a story on repeat.
Yeah. Well, he's injured too, so that makes sense to move him down. A couple sleepers that
okay. I have one sleeper really. Well, Gerald Everett I kind of like too, but I like Cade Stover a lot from Houston. I think he might even have a shot of competing with Dalton Schultz by mid-season to get that. Cade Stover was an absolute preseason beast, and I think that he was underdrafted. I think he should have went higher. I think he's my sleeper, Dave. What about you?
There's a couple sleepers that I like. I like Mike Gesicki with the Cincinnati Bengals. He had a big year 2 years ago with the Dolphins. Some people forgot about him, but now with Burrow, I think he could actually be the guy there. He could be their tight end, and so Burrow might look for him quite a bit this year, especially if Chase doesn't report in time. Another guy I really like too is Ben Sinout for the Washington Redskins. I think he could be their starter actually this year. They let go of Logan Thomas, so I think he is the starter this year, and he could come in and kind of be surprised at tight end. So later rounds, I would definitely look for him too. And then Tavian Sanders. This is kind of a deeper sleeper, but he could by mid-year he could be their starter for the Carolina Panthers. I'm not really high on Tommy Tremble, who they have there as their starter right now. He never really pulled away or did anything in fantasy. So, but Tavian Sanders is really athletic, and I think he could actually be the starter by mid-year for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Benson was. I should have had him higher. He's a sleeper too. I agree with that. Another question here. Hunter 18 wants me to quick opinion and rate on his team. Anthony Richardson, Demonachin, Swift, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Puka Nacua, Sam Laporta, Waddle, Fairbairn, Cowboys defense, benches, Goff, Montgomery, Dowdle, Benson, Deontay Johnson, Romo Dunze, Shaheed. Who's that, Dave? Shaheed?
He's the receiver for the Saints.
Oh, okay. Oh, God, yeah. He's like borderline draftable, but this is his bench. Taysom Hill and Chubb. Okay, so I love Chubb on IR there because you can use him later.
Like Chubb move a lot,
and that's a great move. I'm like same thing with Anthony Richardson. I would put Goff in actually a lot of games. To be honest with you, I just think that Goff's going to win a lot of shootouts. Anthony Richardson, anytime he plays a pretty good defense, be a little careful with that. You'll see in my next segment about the defense. But otherwise, solid. I don't know how many teams are in this league. 10 team, he's just said, okay, 10 team PPR. Wow, my fingers hurt. Yeah, it's still a good team. 10 team PPR, expected to be tough. But, Ochins should be a beast. Swift for the Bears should be good. The Bear, I guess Swift is your weak spot, Dave.
I would agree. Unlike Kiev, I'm a big Anthony Richardson fan. You can definitely I'd play the matchups though for sure, like he was saying. I would look at the defensive matchups and I would play the matchups for sure. Whichever quarterback you could hit on it 1 week, might be 1 week you won't hit on it, but definitely play the matchups. I think Richardson. I like Richardson though. He's one of my sleepers this year.
Go ahead.
But bench is a little bit maybe weak though, and I'm not a big Swift fan either. Like I'd agree with Kiev on that, even though he's a Bear Kiev, but I'm not a big Swift fan. In the past, he's been injured quite a bit. They have quite a few running backs too with the Bears. They have Air Bear still, and then they still have Roscoe Johnson then too. So I don't know how that running back situation is going to shake out there. I know they signed him to a big deal. Not a big Swift fan. I like
Swift got passed around too much, and you wonder what's wrong with him. Why did Detroit dump him for Montgomery? They dumped him for Montgomery, and then the Eagles dumped Swift. It's like why it's just something's weird with that. So I'm a little worried about Swift.
I do like the Rico pick though. I think he could be a sleeper this year. I like Montgomery. I'd probably be starting those two probably over Swift. Probably by week 2 or 3, you might be doing that. So I like your Montgomery and Rico picks. I like those, and Benson could be a stud 2 down the road. I like your bench a lot actually. The only one is Shaheed. I don't know about him. He's borderline, like Keo was saying, maybe. Taysom Hill, too. I dropped him in one league for like Bryce Young as a backup. I don't know if you're looking at him as a backup quarterback, but you already have Goff, though, so he'd kind of be like your gadget guy. So, but yeah, overall, I like his team. Like I said, I'd probably be starting backup running backs, Montgomery and his other backup, Rico, but by mid-year possibly.
And Bing King says matchup and scheme suggest Tate Delch could pop week 1 against the Colts secondary. Yeah, sure, absolutely. He could have a great week. The Colts are the problem is Houston's on the road. It's game 1. It's gonna be a tough environment. Colts were so close to making the playoffs last year, and then those are my quick thoughts on that. But yeah, real quick, Dave, thoughts on Malik Neighbors from Abra Scam Lincoln.
Okay, I'm a big Neighbors fan. I grabbed him in probably half of my leagues, so I think he's gonna be the man there. It's just a matter of if Daniel Jones can get him the ball or not. But yeah, I'm a big Neighbors fan. I think he's one of my sleepers this year. He's one of my top sleepers this year. So I'm a big Neighbors fan. Actually, I think he could actually be better than Harrison this year, possibly. It just depends on if Jones and how that offense kind of shakes out this year.
Well, let's blow through defensive rankings real quick. I'm just going to say I have Cleveland still number 2. A lot of people don't. I have Baltimore, Cleveland, Jets, Niners, Cowboys, and then Houston Texans. I have number 6, Dave, as a sleeper. I don't know why they're getting not drafted in a lot of leagues because they just paid a lot of money for some players. I expect them to be good on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball. And you have a defensive coach in D'Amico Ryans. I think you can hold off, not draft a D, and try to get like a guy, later in the draft, like a Derek Mason, who could be backing up McCaffrey. You can get something like that.
Jordan Mason.
Jordan Mason, or possibly a Khalil Herbert, for the Bears. Yeah, because he's going to get a lot of touches.
Been going really late in a lot of drafts.
Nick Chubb, right? So yeah, I just think that there's going to be a lot of opportunities to, do that and then still get a good D. But then I have the Chiefs number 7. I have the Steelers number 8. I have the Saints number 9, and the Packers, believe it or not, I have number 10. I have the Packers defense over the Bears this year.
Wow. I think the Bears have an improved defense, though. Even like the second half of last year, they were actually once they got Sweat, that really made a difference in their defense, actually. And they have solid linebackers too. But I'll drop my top 10 right here quickly. Ravens at 1, Jets at 2, 49ers at 3, Cowboys at 4, Cleveland at 5, Texans at 6.
Oh, you're with them too. Nice.
I like Texans as well. I'm a big. I grabbed them in my last couple leagues. I moved them up to my draft boards, quite a few leagues actually. I got them at 6. 7, I got the Chiefs. 8, I got the Steelers. Steelers always, for some reason, have a solid D. 9, I got Bills. And then 10, I got the Eagles. I think the Eagles have a good D this year again as well.
Okay, fair enough. The 2 busts I have are the Dolphins and the Bills, actually, Dave. So I disagree with the Bills. I have the Bills. They just hurt, obviously, Matt Milano again. Their main linebacker, and I know Bernard's there. It's just DeMar Hamlin's going to take a lot of media. I think there's going to be a distraction from what happened to him on the field. I'm not a Bills defense guy this year. I don't know. And plus, they lost Leslie Frazier and a lot of their coordinators, and their D was bad last year.
They lost both their starting safeties from last year too, and they lost the cornerback too. So
yeah.
So they lost guys in free agency too. So yeah. Somehow they always find a way to be good on defense, though. So they're kind of like the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like they're always good on D for some reason. And then the environment too they play in, I think, helps as well, and the home advantage. So, but yeah, Bills are probably one of my least favorite defenses this year, like you said, probably because they lost a lot.
Yeah.
But one of my sleepers would be the Bears, though. I didn't have it in my top 10. I like the Bears a lot. I do like the Packers too. I think the Packers have an improved D this year. So. That's another team I like. Lions, I think their defense came out a little bit last year too, so I think they could have an improved defense as well.
Yep. So got another question here asking about the Bills' number 1 receiver. We just covered that about 15 minutes ago, but I'll repeat it. I think it's going to be Coleman. You think Shakir, Dave, maybe, or who's the other guy?
Shakir, that's who I'm hearing from some of my sources. So I think Shakir will be the number 1 guy, and they really like Samuel a lot, but Samuel's actually banged up right now.
He's been in the league a while too. Curtis Samuel's been in the league a long time.
Yeah, and he can never stay healthy. That's the thing. So even with Washington, he had trouble staying healthy, but when he was healthy, and they really like him there. So they said Samuel will be like kind of like a Deebo Samuel there, where he's going to run the ball, he'll be receiving. They're going to put him all over the place. So Samuel could actually be the number 1, I think, if he stays healthy, but I think Shakir is the guy I pick right now.
And MVS is hurt still too, his neck. So, okay, so you say Shakir, I think it's gonna be Coleman. So, Shakir's been there, so I guess I would trust Shakir more. But I'm just kind of using the old prediction game on how I saw him when he played for Florida State. He was really good, but those are my thoughts on that one. So Dave, let's we're over time, but let's just do like top draft picks. Let's just go through your top 10. I think we can both agree Christian McCaffrey's probably both our number 1, but
yep.
I have CeeDee Lamb number 2, Tyreek Hill number 3, and then I have JT Jonathan Taylor number 4. I have Breece Hall number 5, Bijan Robinson number 6, Jamar Chase number yes, Jamar Chase, number 7, Amon-Ra St. Brown, number 8, Justin Jefferson, number 9, and AJ Brown, number 10.
Nice. Top 2 are still, like you said, the same. I got McCaffrey, Lamb at number 2, Hill at 3, Chase at 4, Jefferson at 5. I think Jefferson still has a good year. I got 6 Breece Hall, 7 Bijan Robinson, 8 I got JT. I like him at 8. 9 I got Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then 10 I got AJ Brown. And then Wilson's probably up in that conversation. Same with Barkley too. So those are 2 I kind of struggled with moving up there too. But a lot of my drafts, that's kind of how it's been going in most of my drafts though too as well.
Yeah, the big thing with me, you're pretty close to consensus. The big thing with me is I just have JT higher than most of the consensus. Otherwise, I'm pretty right on. A little bit lower on Jefferson I am, but Dave's a little bit higher. So there's not really much disagreement here. Bijan and Breece Hall, you can flip flop really, in my opinion. They're pretty good. I do like Braylon Allen though a little bit as a sleeper. I just missed him in my draft too by 1. Guy snuck them right before I could, but I think Braylon Allen could pick up a lot. And if Breece Hall gets injured again, Braylon Allen's going to be a stud. Make sure you handcuff him with Braylon Allen for sure. So, well, Dave, that's all the time we got, my man. Great questions from you guys. Thank you so much for talking some fantasy with us. We love it. Really appreciate it. Dave, any last words before we go?
No, I love the questions tonight. Those are great questions. Go Pack on Friday in Brazil. Take down the Eagles.
Go Bears, of course. But, we have the Titans, so I hope we win. We're 4.5-point favorites. So I think that gets down to 3.5 by close, but we'll see. But we'll take it. Thanks a lot for listening, you guys. If you have any questions for next show, please tweet us at The Oddsbreakers. Email us at info@theoddsbreakers.com. Enjoy the rest of your week and go get some winners.